It's me, Renee. I'm back. And as you can see, I have another original tag. So a few weeks ago, I decided to rewatch Casper, a 90s movie with Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman. But yeah, Christina Ricci is kind of, main uh, character there. Well, Christina and Casper, but yeah. And yeah, it's a childhood favorite of mine. I loved the movie so much. I rewatched it a few weeks ago, really enjoyed it. I kind of felt like, oh, okay, you can kind of see the effects a bit now and then, but it's an older movie, so of course you're gonna. I mean, things has happened in the movie business, so I mean, it would be weird if you were still like very believable, like 30 years after. But yeah, and as I do often with things that I love, I've made it into a tag, as you see here. So yeah, first, the uncles, villains that are family to the protagonist. Well, I suppose it could also like be a book with like villains are family to like the main well, this by a side character, like they're family to someone important in the story. So if it's a story with several protagonists, or if it's a story with one protagonist but one important person, and the important person has family who's the villains, then that can count as well. So here I am going to go with, give me a moment, the book you heard about a few times before from me. It is Invisibility by Andrew Kramer. This actually has several people in the family with Stephen who's villains adjacent, I would say. Also, one of them, he's not a downright villain, but he's not a perfect guy. So just like put it that. He's not an anti-hero, but like he's more a villain than a good guy. So yeah. I'm not gonna say anything more because spoilers. But yeah. And of course, recommend this book so much. Then we have Harvey, jovial dad. Here, it was also quite easy to get a book. It is Geeko. So the dad in this series, he's just so silly, and I think he's kind of like he's kind of like a 12-year-old in a like 40-year-old's body because I mean he's old and stuff, like he's just so naive but so silly. He just makes jokes all the time, and he doesn't really have any limits. Like he's just so playful and delightful, and yeah, I would say he's one of the main reasons you should read this book. There's other reasons, of course, as well, but yeah, he's one of the big selling points, at least for me. So yeah, in this series, Harriet's dad, he's definitely quite jovial. Now, when I say this out loud now, like jovial, is that can you say that in English? Because it's a name, it's a word in Norwegian, but maybe it's not really a word in English. I mean, when you say jovial in Norwegian, it's a guy who's kind of charming, but like I suppose maybe a bit like nice. He's kind of like a bit, maybe a bit like hillbilly, but like in a good way. Like he wants everyone to uh, be alright, and he spreads joy and stuff like that. I suppose it's kind of difficult to explain it, but yeah, a bit like that. Maybe I would say like maybe the vibe I get from Chris Evans. I would say that's kind of jovial vibe. I would say like a charming, nice vibe that you give to the world, kind of. So yeah. And then next, Casper, a character who's on the outside, or a character with few friends. Here, I'm actually going to go with a new book. Yes. I mean, often with book tags and like videos, it's kind of easy to go to like the tried and true favorites, but I have some new books in here as well. But yeah, The Very Secret Society of Regular Witchers. So the main character in this one, Mika, she's a witch, so she's on outside from the rest of the world because, I mean, this is urban fantasy, yes. So I suppose if it would be high fantasy, maybe it would be many more witches. But in this world, it's urban fantasy. Witches aren't that common. But because of she's being a witch, but she lives in our world, she kind of has to hide. She doesn't really feel like she can have friends. So like for most of her life, she's moved a lot. So yeah, she doesn't really have that many friends really. But she's also on the outside because she's a witch. So yeah, 2 for 1. But you don't have to have both for this, but yeah, I did. And yeah, as always, this is also a very good book. And then we have Diggs, a mumbling character. Uh, so like kind of really like this character in the movie, and I also kind of I read online that Eric Idle doesn't really appreciate his time filming this movie. He said like he said in interviews that he doesn't really remember filming this movie, so that's quite sad. But I suppose when you've been a Python and like when you film a lot of movies, you're probably not gonna love them all equally. So yeah, but yeah, so as I do often with tags, I kind of first found questions and then today found books. And now while finding books, I'm like, the mumbling idiot. I feel like that might be more of like a trope for the movies or TV series than are there a lot of those in the books? Not in the books that I have, or maybe I'm just not remembering any, but I can't really find any for that. So I'm skipping that one myself. Hey, that's allowed. It's allowed. Don't worry. And then next we have secret doors. The mansion or the house, well, the mansion that Casper lives in, and then also uh, can't remember Christina Rich's character, but yeah, they all live in the mansion, and of course this mansion has secret doors and secret rooms. So yeah, it's one of the things I love about movies, but also that's something that also happens in books. And so yeah, just simply pick a favorite secret room or secret passage from a series, or as well as if it's from a specific book, you can do that as well. I'm gonna do from the Invisible Library series, here represented by the Mortal World. So in this series, there's magical librarians, and each time they go into a library, I might be mistaken now, but I think a library or just kind of any room with lots of books in them, they can turn that room into entrance into like the main library headquarters where like the secret society of librarians work and yeah have the headquarters and stuff. So yeah, any library in the world can like be used to go into this main library for like magical librarians, and yeah, quite like that. I like this series in a lot of ways, but yeah. And then we have Carrigan, a female villain. Here I'm gonna go with Guardians of Time, represented by the first book, The Named. Hey, I got cut off because reasons, but yeah, I'm back. So where was I? I'm pretty sure I was at the Carrigan, a female villain. Maybe I did it one. I'm gonna do it again in case I didn't. So yeah, here I'm gonna go with The Named or The Guardians of Time by Marion Crowley. So well, it was universe. This series it's kind of like a group of villains, but like the main villain, she's actually a Greek goddess. I'm blanking at the moment her name, but yeah, the main baddie is a female villain. So yeah, it works perfectly there. And then we have human Casper. So for spoiler alert, but I mean it's old movie, you probably know the scene. But yeah, for a few minutes, human Casper gets to be a human while he's dancing with. Again, it's kind of annoying because I can't remember the name of the protagonist or the woman. He's dancing with Carrie? No, Kate. He's dancing with Kate. He's dancing with Kate. Yeah. So he and Kate ends up dancing on the Halloween dance. So yeah, dancing on a dance. But yeah. And yeah, in this scene, I kind of feel like in a way he looks a bit old. Like he's supposed to be 12, but then in dancing, it kind of looks a bit like maybe 15. But like first of all, like that guy isn't 12. And then I thought like, oh, maybe he looks 12ish. But I would say he like the human Casper, he looks a bit older than like I imagine a 12-year-old Casper would be. And like he hasn't aged, so he shouldn't look older really. And I don't really think like he looks like that much like a 12-year-old really. So here simply talk about a character or book with a character that looks older than they are. So here I'm gonna use Payback Switch. So in this one, the love interest has kind of like this ethereal, kind of this like timeless look to her. You can't really, I mean, the protagonist knows her age because she knows like that uh, she's gone to school with her sisters and all that stuff. But still, she knows that this person kind of looks like ageless in a way, like looks a bit old. Well, not old, but like ageless. Could be like anything between 30 and 40 or like, yeah, whatnot. So, yeah, this book. And then, last but not least, Casper the movie. Like, yes, some things kind of don't hold up in like regards to the CGI, and like some of the jokes don't really hold up. And like sometimes the plot is kind of like, how does that work? But like one thing that I would still say still holds up is the humor. I think like mainly it's just a very fun and also funny movie. So here simply talk about a book with a ghost that's funny. Like often you can think like ghost equals scariness. That's what often they do. Like if you think about like horror movies and stuff. But there's also a possibility for like funniness with a ghost, as we see in Casper. So here, as was ghost and funniness, was probably are more than this book that I'm thinking of, or the series I'm thinking of. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of where my mind went, predictably. It is The Mediator by Meg Cabot. So like the main ghost, yeah, there's a ghost who's in all the books. Jesse, he's not like funny all the time, but he's funny now and then. But then there are other ghosts now and then who are funnier, and also like it's not like in Casper the only person who's funny is the ghost or other ghosts. So yeah, so like a funny book with ghosts in them, definitely this series or this book. So yeah, that's kind of like my yeah, that is my Casper book tag, and I tag anyone who wants to do it. People who love the movie, people who kind of just wants to do tags, people who enjoy the movie, or whatnot. If you feel like you want to do this tag and it looks funny, tag you're it. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.